We know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 5. Another beautiful day across North Mississippi. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynard here to talk more about that forecast for what to expect into this evening and really that extended forecast as we have football on the horizon as well as the possibility of inclement weather. So lots of things we need to discuss here in the Room to Room Weather Center. Let's get into a few of those headlines. Of course, our top one is that dry Wednesday evening continue to linger around in our forecast. You can kind of get a glimpse there in the background, a look out of one of the North Mississippi Storm Chaser cameras. Blue skies galore. I mean, it is just a superb forecast, but it's been what we've been having for the past several days. Temperatures staying warm for those afternoon time frames, so staying warm this evening before we start to cool off once that sun does set. And as I mentioned, high school and college football forecast will be shown, a little bit of a sneak peek of what to expect as we get into that final stretch of the work week. Our final stretch, of course, starts with the first 12, 6 p.m., 80 degrees, but cooling off overnight, like I mentioned, 80, actually above our seasonable average, and that's even at 6 p.m. As we cool off into the overnight hours, though, it will start to feel a little bit more like fall as we drop back there into the mid-50s for the start of our Thursday. But you might notice clear skies all night long. That really is what is keeping those cool conditions around despite everything being above average temperature-wise. Tupelo, as I mentioned, 82 degrees, 55-degree dew points, and just blue skies, an absolutely stunning sight right there. Hey, maybe get out on the water if you can, or go out there and grab a rod and start fishing for a little bit, and this is a good forecast for it. As we look down in there in Pontotoc, still those blue skies. I love the Pontotoc camera because for some reason it has an orange hue on those trees. I don't believe we're that orange just yet, but fall foliage starting to kick in just a bit. If you look out your back door, you might see a few trees dying, and that's just that time of year as we start to progress there into our fall season. So Blue Springs, 82 degrees as well, 55-degree dew point, and you can see in the distance earlier on, we did have a controlled burn happening right there in the Blue Springs and Ellistown area. That since has subsided, but that is a point that we are watching the possibility of extended burn bans. Still just Lee County and Itala County, but over the next few weeks with how dry things are, how dry things will continue to be, wouldn't be surprised to see a few counties added to that. Mississippi Live Weather Radar, nothing to note so far, and nothing to note honestly over the past several hours as well. Just been a very dry pattern and a very clear forecast, and as will be the case for that extended forecast as well. This is over the past 24-hour rainfall totals. Yes, I mean, you know it, you've experienced it here in North Mississippi. Not a single drop over our Wednesday, but as we look over the past 7 days, yes, you are reading that correctly, we have not seen a drop in our viewing area. Can you believe it? Probably, especially for our farmers out there, probably looking at me like, Gabe, duh, we get it. We know it's dry. But this is just insane to me because this is how abnormally dry things have been. And that's the case all across the region. If we zoom things out here real quick, you can kind of see that we did get close over there towards Tuscaloosa County, but even those, just a few sprinkles as we highlight a few of those totals. And that happening about, let's see, I think 6 days ago. So that would have been on our Thursday. So that's really the extent of the moisture, a little bit of scattered activity here in the southeast, but I mean, everything else remaining out there towards the Midwest. So we are not the fortunate ones to say the least, but we'll take the benefits where we can, and it has been a good looking forecast overall. So as we take things out to look at that surface analysis, you can of course see those low pressure centers progressing east-northeast through Wyoming, Idaho, and up there towards Montana. That of course is not going to be the one that impacts our area, but as this frontal system continues to progress east, we will see another system develop along that jet not too far behind it, and that is what's going to be driving into our area and providing us with that cold front that could have inclement weather attached to it. Again, a lot of questions still in place, even though we are only 3 days out at this point. So as each day goes along, we get a little bit more of those answers, and we'll have those here in just a moment. So let's take Futurecast into that Wednesday evening, and of course, high pressure, the big driver in our forecast, cycling in that cooler air there from the northeast, and that's what's keeping our forecast dry, keeping it cool overnight. And a big driver in how cool things get overnight is just the clear skies. If we don't see a cloud in the sky, our temperatures are allowed to drop significantly evenly as that heat is able to escape. And so that's why we've been in this pattern where it's cool mornings and warm afternoons. It's the heat escaping and then the heat being absorbed towards the afternoon. So same thing can be expected for our Thursday. I'm going to keep saying it because it's very applicable. One of our commenters said, rinse and repeat. Yeah, I feel like that sums up how we've been experiencing the past few days. So 8 a.m. on your Thursday, dry as can be, clear as can be, and cool as can be. That'll be the case throughout your Thursday, but you do see, yes, you are seeing that correctly, during the latter part of our Thursday, clouds start moving back in the forecast. And you might be saying, Gabe, what does a cloud have to do with anything? Well, it's actually a big driver to our severe weather potential because that's moisture returning to the forecast. Just how much are we going to see develop overnight into our Thursday night and Friday? And really, how will that lead into our Saturday threat? We'll, of course, have those details. But we'll also have a breakdown of game times because I know we do have a few games here locally that will be happening. Let's see, I think just one. I think it's just Alabama. But even then, if you have to travel Saturday to go to a few games, well, we'll have a look at that forecast as well because that front going to be the big driver of who gets rain and who doesn't. We'll have that coming up in the next 60, as well as those warm temperatures. There will be some relief in the extended forecast. We'll have a look at that in the latest detail live from the Room to Room Weather Center coming up in the next 60.
At Bulldog Burger, we take the burger game to the next level, like the Freshman 15, stacked with panko fried mozzarella. Unleash your appetite.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious. When he began to discover weather, Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Well, we keep talking about inclement weather, but we have a beautiful forecast for the time being. If you're not getting outside, you're definitely missing out on superb conditions. I mean, look at those blue skies there in Batesville, Panola County, showcasing that beautiful horizon right there. 84 degrees and dew point around 55. So it is a just cool, or not cool, but should I say a dry forecast, and that makes it feel a little bit better. Granted, it doesn't feel like fall at all. I mean, it's too warm towards the afternoon, but luckily that dry air at least makes it a little bit more bearable. So we're not talking about summer heat. This is more of that fall arid-like pattern that we usually get this time of year. Now Greenville, a little bit warmer. You can see that sunshine right there in the sky, center screen right there. 88 degrees, dew point around 50, so dry air dominates our forecast, and will continue to do so as we get into our Wednesday evening, excuse me. And Corinth, I saw a few folks watching there from Corinth, 82 degrees and dew point around 55. You guys over there in Alcorn County, looking like a great forecast as well. You guys are even getting a bit of a breeze out of the north, about 5 to 10 miles an hour out of the Crossroads Museum right there. So just a good looking forecast, one that we've been enjoying over the past all week long, and we'll continue to do so into our Wednesday and into our Thursday. Mississippi Live Weather Radar showcases those dry conditions across the region, not even tracking. Honestly, I feel like the radar has gotten a little bit of a vacation the past few days, not having to track too much in regards to rainfall or showers or even storms. I mean, it's just been a calm pattern for the radar, letting it kind of be at ease, and we appreciate that here in North Mississippi. Church forecast this evening, we know it's midweek services, 80 degrees by 6 p.m., 71 there by 8, and 65 by that 10 o'clock hour. Clear conditions remain in place, so if you're looking to do anything beyond that church service, well, it is going to probably require a long sleeve because temperatures, surprisingly, at 65 degrees, that is cool enough to make you shiver just a bit. So Wednesday evening, you can see those dry conditions and clear conditions like we've been talking about, as will be the case into those services and beyond. So anything you have planned for your Wednesday, looking like a good forecast for it, and into those overnight hours where hopefully a lot of us are getting some good sleep. You won't have to worry about any rumbles of thunder or anything of that matter because it's just going to be that calm pattern once again. High pressure, once it moves into a region, it pretty much reigns supreme for an extended period of time. Let's just extend this out here real quick. Bear with me while I navigate this. You can kind of see that ridging pattern. You can really get a good look at this. Although this is a surface analysis, you can kind of get where the trough is happening out there towards the west. And as it starts to build up just a bit more towards the north, you get this dome right here of just dry air from Oklahoma to Arkansas to Mississippi. Our time will come, but not over the next 24 or 48 hours. So Thursday morning, remaining on the dry side, we might see a few clouds pushing in there by late Thursday, but not for our Thursday morning. You can see right here, low temperatures allowing to cool off overnight. So we're talking 56 56 Boonville, 54 Hamilton, 57 Aliceville, and 58 there towards Belzona. Keeping that forecast going throughout our Thursday. You can see as we're heading to school, another school day coming, but luckily the home stretch, 2 more days of the week, guys, we can power through. 56 degrees, pick up and drop off 86. So tale of two forecast does continue. Long sleeves in the morning, short sleeves by the afternoon. Prepare accordingly. I gave you your warning. But let's keep that forecast going throughout our Thursday. And of course, the morning time staying calm, cool, and collected. I feel like that's a phrase that I've heard before. I don't know, I might be crazy. But at least the forecast staying calm, cool, and collected. That's a good applicable term right there. 9 a.m. on your Thursday, keeping with those dry and clear conditions. Winds starting to shift more out of the east. And why this matters is because that's your high pressure being driven east as well. So you do have the high pressure in that ridging pattern kind of driving out there towards the Atlantic and taking all of the dry effects with it. So now winds are starting to come directly out of the east. Once it fully pushes out into the Atlantic, you'll start to get these winds coming out of the south. That replenishes the moisture into our area. So when does that fully happen? That's going to be a big question heading into Saturday's severe weather threat, and one that we're continuing to track. I mean, as you can see, this is looking at noontime on your Thursday. Winds still basically coming out of the east. So we're still seeing that high pressure right over the top of us. You can see it at the top of your screen right there. If I bump it up, there we go. So coming directly over the top of us. And then of course, as we get into that afternoon forecast, you can see inch by inch heading out there towards the east, more into the Ohio Valley before it gets more into Pennsylvania and the northeast area. Then beyond that, we get this moisture start to push back into the forecast, almost surging into the area Thursday evening, but not moisture in the form of showers. It's going to be moisture more in the form of clouds, those building in Thursday night. And that's just that replenishment of moisture like we've been talking about. There's your front that we're watching in the extended forecast, should I say. So high temperatures as we bring it back here into North Mississippi. You can see 86 Tupelo, 88 Grenada. Greenwood, you did get up to that 90 threshold. I was hoping that you guys would hold strong at 89, but I think that we are going to reach a few 90s there out towards the western regions in the Mississippi Delta, should I say. But let's keep the forecast going. And we're going to go into our Thursday evening, and I'm going to be over here kind of navigating a little bit on that moisture, just when we're expecting it to move into the region. So 8 p.m. on your Thursday, just watch how this cloud cover continues to move out towards the east. And as those dew points climb, then we'll see more clouds develop over the top of us. So those winds still moving out of the east, those easterly winds, and we can look right there, moving directly from east to west. So not exactly getting that moisture resurgence just yet, but those winds starting to shift just a bit. I mean, you can see 12 p.m. on your Friday already coming out of the southeast. Here in North Mississippi, that's enough to get a few of those, a little bit of that moisture to return. Now, shower-wise, I know we see a few out there in Arkansas, but watch how these progress into our area. Not exactly going to sustain itself here in North Mississippi, because whenever you have this dry of a pattern, it's an uphill battle for these showers to form. And so Friday, we have it staying mostly dry. But Friday is going to be a big determining factor, because if these showers are able to move into the area and at least bring some of those dew points up just a bit, well, then that front moving through Saturday will have a little bit more of that unstable air mass. So yes, it does have showers. Not really a believable forecast. At most, we may get a drop or two, but not exactly going to be a washout. So Friday night football games, they're looking good to go. But let's keep that forecast going into your Friday night. And of course, it's just going to be partly cloudy conditions, kind of setting the scene for what's to move in later on. And if we expand things out, we can see that we are not too far away from that. That front starting to extend there into your Saturday morning through Oklahoma City and Tulsa, and then on into northwest Arkansas, where it inches closer and closer to us here in North Mississippi. So something we're paying attention to, but of course our unstable air mass provided with that heat as well. So it is going to be a toasty forecast, whether the moisture returns or not. 89 Grenada, 91 Greenwood, 88 towards Eupora, and 86 around Louisville. So keeping those above average conditions, and our high school game of the week forecast presented by Casey Law does showcase those above average conditions. 79 pregame, we're talking around 6 p.m. So yeah, 6 p.m. should not still be at 79 degrees this time of year, but luckily as the game goes on, halftime 73 and final snap by 70. Now, this is showing mostly clear conditions. I would say that we will have a few clouds passing there up in the sky, limiting how much we cool off into our Saturday. But again, how much cloud cover we see is going to be a big thing that we're going to be watching here in the Room to Room Weather Center moving forward. Your SEC football forecast, I should have saved this. Bear with me one moment. I will tweak this here real quick. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I just need to load in. Sweet. Okay, so bringing it back. There we go. Okay, perfect. Ole Miss taking on Georgia in Athens. Going to be a beautiful forecast. As we mentioned, the front moving through Arkansas Saturday morning. So the fact that it's moving through Arkansas Saturday morning means it has a ways to go before it reaches Athens, Georgia. So the Rebels running away from the rain, and they're doing a good job at it. 81 degrees first play, 81 by halftime, 75 by that final snap, still with clear conditions all game long. As we look at our Alabama forecast, you can see that they are at home against the Tennessee Volunteers. Going to be a big game, a rivalry game between the two, and I know a lot of folks in the chat are excited to see that one. And as you can see, 79 degrees first play, 78 halftime, and 76 by that final snap. Why is it getting cooler over time? Well, kickoff is at 6:30, so it's not going to be a substantial drop. I don't want to say that there's going to be any cool air moving in anytime soon, but we are getting closer and closer as that front starts to clear. Now, cloud cover going to be in the forecast. Could see a few showers as well as that front kind of picks up in speed and maybe moving over the Tuscaloosa region at the end of that game. Front timing, as you can tell by my expression, not exactly set in stone just yet. These models have been all over the place. But let's keep that SEC football forecast. Mississippi State taking on Florida at 3:15 on your Saturday in Gainesville. So it's going to be in the Gator Stadium. So this needs to be one that Mississippi State gets for sure to reach that 6-win threshold, maybe reaching a bowl game. So we're fingers crossed on that. Hopefully they don't play us like they did Texas. We're hopeful. 84 degrees first play, 81 by halftime, and 73 by that final snap. So mid-afternoon kickoff luckily gets cooler over time. And a big thank you to Carl Hogan Toyota for sponsoring that forecast for us to let us know what's going on for our game days. So as we track that forecast out, you can see Thursday and Friday temperatures above average, 86 degrees, and low temperatures trend even that much warmer. 56 Thursday, jumping to 59 by Friday, jumping to 62 by Saturday, and 64 by Sunday. So that gradual increase happening over time. But beyond the front, we've been talking about this inclement weather threat, and we'll have a full breakdown coming up at 6 p.m. about this, really what to expect, the ingredients that are in place, and what we know so far, and what questions still need to be answered. We'll have all of that coming up in the next hour. But what's beyond that front is a lot of good weather. Honestly, we're seeing multiple fronts move through the region as of right now on a lot of our long track models. So Saturday evening, that front moves on through, cools us off for Sunday afternoon. So 86 dropping to 74. But look at this. I mean, low temperatures for the start of our Sunday, 64 degrees. I don't need to say anything. That speaks for itself, and that is a great forecast, one that I'm excited for. I told my wife, go ahead and get the fall gear out and don't worry about putting it up, because I think from here on out with those fronts interacting, for the most part, I should say, we are in Mississippi and the forecast does change, but we have multiple fronts moving through that's going to keep our temperatures at bay and keep it feeling like fall for a extended period of time. We do see that front moving through Tuesday evening, and that's going to be dropping our temperatures into the mid-70s by Wednesday. So no complaints there. I mean, just for folks that are excited to get fall back in action, I think this is exactly what they were waiting on. And lingering chances of rainfall, I know a lot of folks excited to see that. Granted, it's very isolated, but at least there's chances, right? So like I said, we'll have a full breakdown coming up tonight at 6 on that severe weather threat. But I know our chief meteorologist, Matt Lobhon, continues his coverage of the wonders of Australia, letting us know where he's at now and what he's able to see from the land down under.
Well, hello from the iconic Sydney Opera House. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. I don't know that we're going to be able to show you on the inside because there are a number of copyrighted productions that are going on there, so we just can't show the sets, unfortunately. But we're going through an incredible tour here of the different venues. Actually, I believe 5 main venues here where you can watch everything from comedy routines to plays to obviously symphony. One of the interesting things about the structure that I didn't realize, and maybe I just should have realized it, it's made up of these tiles, as you can see. More than 1 million tiles that were manufactured in Sweden and then brought over. They weren't sure exactly how well they would stand up, believe it or not, and they've done a great job since the early 70s when it was built. Until now, only 11,000 tiles have had to be replaced. So again, we are here at the iconic Opera House. Our tour is moving inside, so I'm going to go inside as well. Maybe we'll be able to get you some video in there, but I don't think we're probably going to be able to because, again, a lot of those copyright productions. And appreciate all the folks for, supporting us, the folks at MLM Clothiers in the Tupelo area. But from the Opera House in Sydney, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon, Mississippi Live Weather.
I mean, that is so cool, just getting to see the Opera House up close. I never even knew like that was the texture of the building. And so being able to see it up close and personal, I always just see it. I think Nemo was my exposure to the Sydney Opera House. And I was like, all right, that's how it looks. We're good to go. And being content my whole life, but now seeing it up close, I want to see it in person now. Oh, Matt, you are inspiring me to go on a trip to Australia. So at least we need to be saving up some money. Looking at our severe weather risk, I wanted to pull this up before we wrap up the show to give you guys a visual of what we're going to be discussing tonight at 6. You might see that it has started to extend a little bit more east, folks, and Tupelo included within that threat. This is the Storm Prediction Center's risk. I want to explain more at 6 why I have my thoughts about this. I think there are still a lot of questions about this forecast, so pushing it a little bit east might be a little bit ambitious at this point, but this isn't exactly the focal point of the threat. It's just where our threat is here in North Mississippi. Timing a big factor in that, moisture a big factor within that. We'll be tracking all the latest details on that forecast, but this is where it sits right now, and this forecast can and will be changed, and we'll, of course, be here for every second of that change, walking you guys through the very latest on what you can expect. So for now, this wraps it up at 5. So our next broadcast, I said it twice already, I'll say it one more time, tonight at 6, but then we have a follow-up one tonight at 10, which will give us the latest on what to expect with that severe weather threat. You know, does it answer some more of the questions? Well, hopefully it does, but we'll have more details coming up then. And of course, our morning show readily available. Make sure to wake up bright and early with meteorologist Maggie McCauley, giving you the latest on what to expect for the day ahead. And she's walking through that severe weather threat as well, answering some questions you may have. Put those questions down in chat, and we will answer them at the next live show. We'll see you back here in just a couple of minutes. Until then, have a great afternoon.
Community is the way we find our strength and share our hope. It's the way dinner on the table brings a family closer together. It's the way we make sure his first chapter book is the first step on his path to greatness. It's the way we rally in hard times and rise back up stronger than ever. United is the way we come together so everyone can thrive. Join us at unitedway.org.